Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a popular conservative speaker and the founder of Turning Point USA. He spent much of his life speaking to young people about politics, freedom, and conservative values. On September 10, 2025, Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. The event was part of his American Comeback Tour. He sat under a big white tent that read "Prove Me Wrong." About 3,000 people were there to listen. Around 12:20 p.m., Kirk was answering a question from someone in the crowd. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out. People screamed and ducked. Kirk was hit in the neck and fell. Security rushed him away as the crowd panicked. He was taken to the hospital, but sadly he was pronounced dead shortly after. He was only 31 years old. Police believe the shooter fired from the roof of a nearby building, about 100 to 200 yards away. Video showed a person in dark clothes on top of the Lacis Center building just before the shot. A person of interest was arrested but later released. Investigators are still searching for the person who pulled the trigger. Kirk's death shocked the country. Leaders from both political parties spoke out, calling it an attack on free speech and a sign of rising political violence in America. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was not just a general, he was the most powerful man in Rome. By 44 BC, he had conquered Gaul, defeated his rivals in a civil war, and been named dictator for life. But his growing power terrified many senators. They feared that Caesar was turning Rome's republic into a monarchy, and that democracy itself was at risk. On the morning of March 15, 44 BCE, Caesar arrived at the Theater of Pompey, where the Senate was meeting that day. His wife Calpurnia had begged him not to go, shaken by bad omens, but Caesar dismissed the warnings. Inside the Senate chamber, the conspiracy came to life. More than 60 men had plotted his death. As Caesar took his seat, one senator approached with a petition. Suddenly, another grabbed his toga, pulling it down from his neck. It was the signal. The first dagger plunged into his shoulder, then another into his chest. Caesar struggled to defend himself but was surrounded. The attacker stabbed him over 23 times in total. Ancient writers claimed that when he saw Brutus, a man he trusted like a son, raise his dagger, Caesar stopped fighting. His final words are said to have been, "Et tu, Brute," translating to "You too, Brutus." Then he fell to the floor, bleeding out at the foot of Pompey's statue, the very man he had once defeated in battle. The senators fled the chamber, leaving Caesar's lifeless body behind. Rome was thrown into chaos. The conspirators had hoped his death would save the Republic. Instead, it sparked another civil war, one that ended with Caesar's grandnephew Octavian becoming Rome's first emperor. The brutal murder that was meant to preserve freedom became the moment that killed it. Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi was India's first and only female prime minister, a powerful figure who ruled with a firm hand. But in 1984, tensions between the government and Sikh separatists had reached a breaking point. That summer, Gandhi authorized Operation Blue Star, a military raid on the Golden Temple to remove armed militants. The assault left hundreds dead and the temple scarred by gunfire. Across India, anger grew, including within its own security team. On the morning of October 31, 1984, Indira Gandhi left her residence to film a television interview. As she walked through the garden toward the studio, two of her bodyguards were waiting. Without warning, they opened fire. Dozens of bullets tore through her at point-blank range. Bean Singh surrendered immediately and was shot dead by other guards on the spot. Satwant Singh was captured alive. Indira Gandhi was rushed to the hospital but died within hours. News of her assassination spread across India like wildfire. But the killing did not bring peace. Instead, it ignited anti-Sikh riots across Delhi and other cities. Mobs targeted Sikh homes and businesses, leaving thousands dead in one of the darkest episodes in modern Indian history. The assassination of Indira Gandhi didn't just end the life of a prime minister, it tore open deep communal wounds that scarred the nation for years. John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was more than just the president of the United States. He was a symbol of youthful energy and hope in the middle of the Cold War. On November 22, 1963, Kennedy was in Dallas, Texas for a campaign trip. He rode in an open-top limousine, waving to cheering crowds. The weather was clear, the mood festive. At 12:30 p.m., the unthinkable happened. Gunfire rang out. The first bullet struck Kennedy in the upper back. The second hit him in the head. His wife, Jackie, was seated beside him. The moment captured forever in the Zapruder film, one of the most studied pieces of footage in history. The limousine sped to Parkland Hospital. but Kennedy was pronounced dead less than 30 minutes later. Police quickly arrested Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine with ties to communist sympathizers, as the alleged assassin. But before he could stand trial, Oswald himself was shot and killed by nightclub owner Jack Ruby. Kennedy's assassination stunned the world and sparked decades of conspiracy theories. From CIA involvement to a possible second shooter on the infamous grassy knoll, it remains one of the most shocking and debated assassinations in modern history. Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi ruled Libya for over 40 years, first as a revolutionary hero and as a dictator. His reign was marked by brutal crackdowns, international controversies, and a cult of personality that dominated the country. But in 2011, the Arab Spring reached Libya. Protests erupted into full-scale civil war and NATO intervened to support the rebels. The forces of Gaddafi collapsed city by city until he was finally cornered in his hometown of Sirte. On October 20, 2011, Gaddafi tried to flee in a convoy of vehicles. NATO airstrikes destroyed several of the cars, forcing him to take shelter in a storm drain beneath a highway. Rebel fighters quickly surrounded the area. Video footage shows them pulling Gaddafi out of the drain, wounded, dazed and begging for his life. That there would be no trial. The fighters beat him, dragged him through the street, and shot him at close range. Within hours, images and videos of his bloody body spread across the internet, making his death one of the first major political assassinations to go viral worldwide. The man who once called himself the King of Kings of Africa was gone, and Libya descended into years of chaos and civil conflict that still continue today. What do you think? Which of these assassinations had the biggest impact on history? And what lessons should we take from them today? Comment down in the comments section. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Also tell us what you want to see in the next video.